Hi friends, let's first try to solve the problem which we left in the next video, which was that we had a point charge Q and two grounded infinite conducting planes and a point charge Q which was symmetrically placed at a distance d. So this distance is d and this distance is also d, and we had to find the force on this charge Q. And these are all grounded, so the potential on these are 0. So here we are going to use the image charge method. First we are going to find the number of image charges which are formed. That is given by the formula n is equal to 360 upon theta minus 1. Theta here is 90 degrees. So this will be 90 and this will be 3. So there will be 3 image charges which will be formed here. So one charge will form here minus at a distance minus q. A charge minus q at a distance again d here. Another image charge will be formed here, which will be minus q at a distance d, and the fourth charge is going to form here with a charge q and a distance here 2d, and this distance is 2d. Let's call this 1, 2 and 3. So the force on this q due to the first charge is attractive. The force F1 will be along this direction, F3 will be also attractive, it will be along this direction, and F2 is repulsive, it will be in that direction. So F1, let's take this as the x-axis and this as the y-axis. Therefore F1 will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. I am only writing the magnitude and then the direction I will write separately. So you'll have q squared upon distance is 2d the whole square and direction is minus x hat direction. And F2 will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. F3 due to this charge will be again q square upon 2d the whole square and direction is minus y hat direction. Now to find the force due to F3 I am going to resolve it. So resolve along this axis and along this axis. This is charge q, this is resolving here, this is theta, that is 45 degrees. So this will be F2 cos 45 and that will be F2 sin 45. And this distance here between the charge q, and that is the diagonal, and this distance is 2d the whole square plus 2d the whole square. Let's call this distance x. So we are having x squared is equal to 2 into 2d squared. So F2 bar total will be equal to F2 cos 45 in the x hat direction plus F2 sin 45 in the y hat direction upwards. So F2 here is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, only magnitude, that will be q square upon distance squared, that is 2 into 2d the whole square. Cos 45 sin 45 is 1 by root 2 and I'll have x hat plus y hat. So the net force on this charge will be equal to, I am now going to add along with this direction. So we'll have 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught outside, q squared outside, 2d the whole squared outside, and we'll have here minus x hat. Here we'll have minus y hat, and here we'll have x hat upon 2 root 2 plus y hat upon 2 root 2. Solve this, we'll get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q square upon 4d squared into minus 2 root 2 plus 1 x hat plus minus 2 root 2 plus 1 y hat divided by 2 root 2. So this will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q squared upon 4 2s are 8d squared I'm taking minus outside, 2 root 2 minus 1 into minus x hat minus y hat divided by root 2. This is the net force acting on this charge q. So from this term we can see that this force is directed towards the center. So the net force is directed towards the center. So in these types of problems, the best method is first you find the magnitude of the force. Okay, just take the magnitude of the force on the charge q, and if there is any term which is based on theta, then just resolve it into cos and sine, resolve them, and then when you find the net force add them according to the directions, that is minus x hat, minus y hat, and this term. So that way finding the net force becomes easier. Now we are going to look into the multipole expansion of potential. So consider this, where we have to find the potential at point R. So you'll have potential at point R will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught integration over 1 by small r rho r dash d tau dash. Multipole expansion of potential is the expansion of potential of any localized charge distribution in powers of 1 by r. So that comes out to be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught summation n equals to 0 to infinity 1 by r raised to n plus 1 integration r dash power n, this is r dash, p n cos theta, theta is this angle, rho r dash d tau dash. So when we expand this, we'll get q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r plus p cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught r squared plus qij 3 cos square theta minus 1 divided by 2, and again here have 4 pi epsilon naught r cube plus so on. So the first three terms in this expansion will look like this. This is 1 by r term, which is also the monopole term. This is 1 by r squared, which is the dipole term, 1 by r cube, and this is the quadrupole term. So this is the monopole term, the second is the dipole term, the third is the quadrupole term. This varies as 1 by r, the second varies as 1 by r squared, the third varies as 1 by r cube. This q is called as the monopole moment, this p is the dipole moment, and this qij is the quadrupole moment. So if we have two charges plus q and minus q separated by a distance d, therefore the potential due to this will form a dipole, and this potential due to dipole will be equal to p cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught r squared, if this r is very much greater than the distance d between these two charges. Therefore the dipole moment is nothing but p bar, and that is equal to summation of the charge with sign into the vector distance from the origin. Vector distance from the origin. Therefore p bar in this case, that is the dipole moment here, will be equal to this charge with sign q into vector distance from the origin, that is d by 2 z hat, plus the second charge minus q and the distance from the origin, that is d by 2 into minus z hat. That will come out to be qd in the z hat direction. So the dipole moment, the direction of this dipole moment is from the negative charge to the positive charge, that is upwards. So the potential due to this dipole, which is a function of r and theta, is equal to qd cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught r squared, which can also be written as p cos theta, because we just saw qd is p upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square, magnitude only, which is equal to p bar dot r hat upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square, where we consider that p is present at the origin and points in the positive z direction. So when here we said that dipole moment is summation of charge with sign into vector distance from the origin, so from this formula we can see that this dipole moment p is dependent on the choice of origin. But if the monopole term q is equal to 0, then this dipole term will not depend on the origin. And the electric field due to this dipole, which is equal to minus del v dipole, so that will be equal to minus del v upon del r hat minus 1 by r del v upon del theta hat. There is no phi term because potential does not depend on phi here. Then this comes out to be p upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube 2 cos theta r hat plus sine theta hat. If this Q is not equal to 0, then our potential will be will depend on 1 by r, and electric field will depend on 1 by r square. If this Q is equal to 0 but this P is not equal to 0, then our potential will depend on 1 by r squared and electric field will depend on 1 by r cube. Now if Q is equal to 0 and P is also equal to 0 but this Qij, that is the quadrupole moment, is not equal to 0, then the potential will depend on 1 by r cube and the electric field will be dependent on 1 by r raised to 4. Due to continuous charge distribution, we already know the total charge or the monopole moment Q, which is integration 1 by over the curve C lambda dl, which is also equal to integration over surface D sigma dA, or it can be integration over the volume V rho d tau. The dipole moment due to continuous distribution will be integration over curve C lambda r dl. Now this is a vector quantity, so this is also vector quantity, or integration over surface sigma r dA, or integration over volume r bar sigma rho d tau. So the quadrupole moment Qij will be equal to integration over the volume V 3 Ri dash Rj dash minus Ri dash the whole squared into delta Ij, where this delta Ij is Kronecker delta. This value will be 0 if I is not equal to j, and it will be 1 if I is equal to j, rho of R dash d tau dash. And in case of continuous charge distribution, you check the monopole term and you check the dipole term. If both are coming out to be 0, then directly you can write the answer that the answer is quadrupole term. Now we are going to find the force and the torque on a dipole which is present in an electric field. The first, let's say it is present in a uniform electric field. So for uniform electric field, the electric field acting on plus charge will be equal to the electric field which is acting on the negative charge. So the net force F will be equal to Q on charge Q, which is electric E plus, and plus Q charge this thing E minus, okay, on this charge. But this force is towards the right and this force is towards the left, so here sign will be negative, and since E plus is equal to E minus, this force will be equal to 0. That is, net force on this dipole will be equal to 0. And the torque, which is equal to R bar cross F bar, will be equal to, for this charge we'll have here, for the charge plus Q we'll have the distance R is d by 2 cross F bar is the force acting on that, which will be equal to Q into E bar plus, then plus we'll have d by 2 distance here cross Q into E bar minus force acting on this charge. So this comes out to be Q d E sine theta, and that is nothing but P bar cross E bar. That is the torque in the acting on this dipole in uniform electric field. Now if we had non-uniform electric field, that is E plus will not be equal to E minus. In non-uniform electric field, here E plus will not be equal to E minus, then the net force will be not equal to 0, because this will be QE plus minus QE minus, and this value is not equal to 0. And the potential energy on an electric dipole which is present in an electric field is given by U will be equal to minus P bar dot E bar, which is equal to minus P E cos theta. Then the force will be equal to minus del bar U, and that comes out to be P bar dot del E bar. The torque is equal to P cross E plus R cross F, that is P bar dot del into E bar. Potential energy will be minimum for the stable configuration, and the configuration will be stable when P and E are parallel to the field, that is when cos theta it will be cos 0, and cos 0 will be when theta equals to 0, we'll have cos 0 is 1, and that will be minus PE. This is the stable configuration. So final orientation of dipole will be parallel to the field, because the electric field is along this direction. So when theta equals to 0, P dipole will be like this, and since direction of dipole moment is from negative to positive, so P will be along this direction. When both are in the same direction parallel to each other, the potential energy is minimum and the configuration is the most stable configuration. So now the interaction of 2 point charges, let's say Q1 and Q2, which are separated by a distance r, the interaction energy of these 2 point charges is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon the distance r squared. Now instead of 2 charges, if we had, let's say, 2 dipoles which are P1 bar and P2 bar separated by a distance r here, let this distance be r, then the interaction energy of these 2 dipoles will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube P1 bar dot P2 bar minus 3 P1 dot r hat into P2 dot r hat. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we will look into dielectrics. Peace be upon you.